Hello, my name is Natalie Chow, and I'm a current undergraduate student here at the University of Guelph. I'd like to welcome you to the Ontario Agricultural College Convocation Ceremony this afternoon. The University of Guelph is honored by our graduates, and we take great pride in this convocation. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the proceedings today. The ceremonials used for conferring degrees have evolved over a millennium, and the gowns and hoods represent that history. In general, the gowns for the baccalaureate and magistrate programs are black, and the color of the hood is different for each degree program. The doctorates at the University of Guelph are a bright blue gown, and the honorary degrees are an even brighter color. The University of Guelph crest that you can see on the curtains behind me and on the cover of your convocation program is also representative of our specific history. The emblem of the crest also shows links with the royal city of Guelph through the white stallion, the connection to liberal arts through the book, to sciences through the astrolabe, and our connection to abundance and agriculture through the cornucopia. The University of Guelph motto, Rerum cogna kerausis, is a quote from Virgil. It is variously translated to be either happy is the one who is able to ascertain the reason of things, or perhaps to know the meaning of things. The procession of people into the hall are also influenced by ancient tradition. The piper will herald the start of the procession of graduates, the students who are graduating today. This will be followed by the arrival of the mace, leading the platform party. The mace is a symbol of authority of the university and is carried by the beadle. In medieval universities, a beadle was chosen by the instructor to be an assistant. Today, the beadle is a ceremonial officer of Senate. Following the beadle and the mace is the vice-chancellor, members of the administration and the honorees, fellows of the university, members of the board and senate, and members of the faculty and staff. The degrees will be conferred in the order you see in your program. The degrees are separated by categories, representing the specific degree being awarded within the college. We will begin with the doctorates and magistrates, followed by the baccalaureate degrees. The name reader will announce the degree being awarded at the start of each category. As the name of each student is called by the beadle will place the hood over the recipient's shoulders. This moment will be videoed, and technology willing, there will be a live cast to allow family and friends to watch the event from a distance. The Vice-Chancellor will then confer the degree. We understand the joy and excitement accompanying such an auspicious event, but we ask that you hold your applause until after each group of graduates has crossed the stage. There will be an opportunity for a truly thunderous applause after each group has graduated. Once all the degrees are conferred and all the cheers are cheered, the Vice-Chancellor will close the ceremony and a recessional will play. Please remain standing during the recessional until all the platform party has processed out of the hall. I would also like to mention that today we're adding a new feature to Convocation. Our colleagues from Alumni Affairs and Development are hosting a new social media program specifically developed for Convocation. So share your photos, memories, and advice with graduating students by joining us on social media and using the hashtag GuelphGrad. Finally, may I be the first to congratulate the students on their various successes and their friends and family for supporting them here today. Welcome to Convocation at the University of Guelph.
true patriot love in all our sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
I would like to acknowledge the Attawandaron people on whose traditional territory the University of Guelph resides, and offer respect to our Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Métis neighbors as we strengthen our relationships with them. Some people think that if there's no higher power behind the universe, as many of you, including me, have concluded, there can be no real significance, much less spiritual significance, to an event like this. I disagree. If you are the parent or friend of one of these graduands, you know today is significant. Some of you may be surprised and even shocked that they made it to this day, and that makes you maybe now believing in miracles, if not in God. You are proud of what they have achieved. As they face the challenge of finding the right context to apply their education, may you continue your support, always mindful that to be loving, caring, and encouraging is at the heart of providing the spiritual support that we all need in life. If you are one of the faculty members who taught, cajoled, encouraged, and mentored these graduands to reach this milestone, you too know that this day is significant. May you have a deep sense that it was worth it all, that this is what their years of education were for, that this is what your long years of education were for, and may you have renewed energy to do the same with the next class of undergrads. And for the students before me who are graduating today, may you be thankful, determined, and good. Thankful for your parents, your profs, and the life force that brought you into existence. Determined to make this world a better place, and good, both in your field and in your character. If spirituality is about values more than beliefs, you have been encouraged at the University of Guelph to embrace life-enhancing values like caring and compassion, along with your academic achievement. Whether you believe in a higher being, an impersonal life force, or simply in life, love, and goodness in our universe, may this be one of the most significant days of your life as you become more equipped than ever in whatever field you go into to change lives and improve life. Amen, which means so be it. You may be seated. How are you?
Members of the board, honorary fellows, and faculty of the university, families and friends of the graduands, and last but certainly not least, graduands. Welcome to the celebration of convocation at the University of Guelph. My name is Franco Vaccarino. I have the honor of serving as the president and vice chancellor of this great university. And I'm privileged to welcome you to convocation today. I'd like to extend a particular welcome to this afternoon's special guest, Dr. Timothy McAllister, who was named the H.R. Macmillan Laureate earlier today, and he will be honored to you formally in a moment and introduced to you. And it was a delight for me to actually meet Tim earlier today. So welcome, Dr. McAllister. Now, as we begin today's convocation ceremony, I do believe that a few congratulatory remarks are in order. First off, graduands, this is your big day. You've worked hard, you've persevered, and you've made it. Well done and well deserved. Now, a lot of today is about you, but not all of today. So before we go on, graduates, there's a group of individuals here who I'm sure you will agree deserve your special attention. And those are the family members and friends who've supported you from the sidelines and throughout your time here at Guelph. So might I encourage you, I recommend, invite you all to stand up, turn around, salute and applaud your family and friends who are right behind you. Terrific. Great, thank you. Now, in preparing this welcome, I reflected on how this university has prepared you, our graduates, for this very moment and for the years that will follow. Let me explain. I'm an optimist by nature. In many ways, I very strongly believe that we're living through what might be remembered as one of the most exciting and important periods in history. The world today is marked by absolutely unprecedented dynamism, unprecedented change, incredible advances in the life sciences and physical sciences, information and communication technology, in the sheer volume of discovery and knowledge. And through all this change, advances in the social sciences, the arts, the humanities, are testing our belief systems. They challenge our constructs against new and evolving societal contexts. And by doing so, they offer new information that helps us adapt to these changing realities. We're also witnessing disciplines and subject matter that had been for so long isolated, coming together now in fresh and exciting ways. Music and computer technology, healthcare and robotic engineering, manufacturing and agriculture. The interconnectedness of our world today makes knowledge more accessible and abundant than ever. This is accelerating discovery and new learning faster than many of us can even keep up with. So what are the attributes of humans that will allow us to thrive in such dynamic and ever-changing times? Well, they include the ability as individuals and as a university for us to adapt and to readapt in a healthy way to uncertainty and change. And by adaptation, I don't mean simple passive habituation. I'm referring to the act of very deliberately and consciously redefining ourselves based on what is going on around us. When faced with change, people adapt. Sometimes they adapt in healthy ways, sometimes they adapt in not so healthy ways. The opportunity for you, our graduates, is to adapt to change in healthy ways, to undertake thoughtful analysis that will help uncover what I like to call the upside of uncertainty. This provides hope, it provides inspiration, and it fuels discovery. It's about taking uncertainty and change and turning it into something special. Today, an important part of our mission as a university has been to provide our students, you, our graduates, with an environment of broad perspectives and analysis, and the opportunity for you to adapt in healthy ways to a changing world. Now, in pursuit of this healthy adaptation, we must also remember and work to preserve and enhance what makes Guelph so unique. Our integrity, our team and community spirit, characterized by the willingness to look out for our neighbors and to work together towards common goals, and demonstrated through our volunteer work across this beautiful city and around the world. How and what you choose to explore should be grounded in and guided by these timeless values. Now, our university has worked hard to provide you with the tools to successfully adapt and navigate through the complexities and the dynamics of modern society, and to provide you, our graduates, with hope and with clarity. We've tried to help instill an ability to adapt, and I would say further, to actually thrive within a more ambiguous and ever-changing environment. And we've built physical environments that have supported your campus experience, a campus experience that has exposed you to meaningful learning, world-renowned breakthroughs, and personal growth. Through all this, the University of Guelph has provided you with a home away from home, during a key transition in your own personal journeys, during a key period of transformation in your own development. In short, we believe that the university has provided you with a nurturing environment, an environment that has enhanced your learning and has incubated new ideas by facilitating meaningful human interaction and productive collaboration. Now, the debate and discussion encouraged by university environments goes beyond information and technical skill. It is in this physical space that you have developed the analytical and soft skills that will serve you well through each and every job you might have. What you have learned here goes beyond teaching of subject matter strictly and goes towards the process of learning, learning to learn, adaptation, and creativity. As successful graduates, many of you will blend knowledge, mixing and matching ideas from separate disciplines, and you'll be required to adapt and readapt many times through your careers. We believe that the university has provided you with the tools to do so. Your time at Guelph has provided you with the creative and intellectual skills to apply that knowledge in innovative, energizing, and different ways. So as you enter this next exciting stage of your lives, I encourage you to draw on all of your University of Guelph experiences as learners and as members really of a very special community, and to bring the very best you have to offer to each and every experience you encounter, to your work life, to your personal relationships, and to your service to society. Thank you very much.
At the OAC award ceremony earlier today, the H.R. Macmillan Laureate in Agriculture Award was presented to Dr. Timothy McAllister. This $10,000 prize recognizes significant leadership in Canadian agriculture and is presented every 5 years. The 2015 award is the 10th and final award to be presented. This award was presented to Dr. McAllister in recognition of his contributions to reducing the impact of E. coli and BSE infections on the Canadian livestock industry. I am pleased to invite Dr. McAllister to now give the convocation address.
Well, thanks very much. I've got to get the right one here. Thanks very much for the opportunity. You'll find that President Fracano's speech and mine have some elements in common, and we actually didn't talk to each other about what we were going to talk about before we did this today. So I want to start by congratulating the class of 2015 for your accomplishments and the tremendous effort that you've made that enabled you to be in the room here today and share in this celebration. In my career, I've probably given about 500 talks at various locations all over the world. And although I always get excited when I give a talk, I seldom get nervous anymore. But I must admit that the thought of giving a presentation here today makes me nervous. And the reason for that is because really giving a talk to the class here really represents giving a talk to the future. You guys are the future. And we hear about it every day, about how the future is uncertain. We hear continuously about how we're in an economic crisis. Seems like we're always in an economic crisis now. We have layoffs, we have climate change is out of control, we have Ebola in Africa, we have terrorists that want to attack us in our homes. We have antibiotics that are becoming useless. It seems endless, it goes on and on and on. But you've all made a choice to hone a special gift, and that's the ability to learn. I predict you'll find that this gift will serve you well. It will give you the power to analyze and adapt to uncertainties of the future, whatever they may be. If a gift that no one can take away from you, and it's one that you can continue to refine and sharpen as you make your journey through life. The great thing about learning is that it is applicable in almost all situations that you'll encounter, and even when you figure out that you may not be on the path that you thought you were. So with that in mind, I thought I'd share with you a few examples of where I found the gift of learning to be useful in trying to find my path through life. So I'm an Alberta boy. I grew up in Alberta on a cow-calf farm in central Alberta, and I completed my BSc and MSc at the University of Alberta. My MSc was in animal biochemistry, where I learned to actually study the impact of cold and heat exposure on protein turnover using rats. What did I learn from that experience? Well, I learned a lot about the fundamental biochemical processes of life. I learned I didn't like HPLCs, and I never wanted to work on one again. I felt that I lacked the ability to write a scientific paper, and I was also allergic to rats. And that there was this lovely girl named Kim Stanford doing her MSc in the lab across the hall, who showed that she cared for me as I sneezed my way up and down the hallway, pushing my diets for my rats. So what did I finally conclude? Well, I was moving wherever Kim was going. So I got two things out of the U of A, an MSc and a wife. And as I know this is going to be broadcast on YouTube, and Kim will view it, I want to make it perfectly clear that I value my wife more than my MSc. Well, the place where Kim decided to go was Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada Research Centre in Lethbridge, Alberta. Kim grew up in Lethbridge, figured it's a place we could get a job. Myself, I'd never heard of it. Well, it turned out Kim was right. Kim's degree was in quantitative genetics, and she employed her wealth of knowledge in the holding of bulls' tails. Dr. Glenn Coulter, a reproductive physiologist at the center, was using infrared thermography of the bull's testes as an index of fertility. As the image was captured between the bull's legs, it was Kim's job to make sure the tail didn't get in the way. And my job, you guessed it, running an HPLC, analyzing and measuring serum vitamin A levels in cattle. Well, I just knew I needed to get away from that HPLC, so I figured I'd get a job in the feed industry. There were 4 or 5 mills in Lethbridge. We've all heard about how Lethbridge is the feedlot capital of Canada. Getting a job in the feed industry should be straightforward with my wealth of nutritional and biochemical knowledge. So I went around to all the mills in Lethbridge. They did not deny that I was educated, but they said I wasn't as much use because I had no experience. Only one mill would offer me a job, and it was a fair ways away from my dream of being a nutritionist. It was driving around on the weekends selling dog food through grocery stores, gas stations, hardware stores, pretty much anywhere I could think of where a customer might want to pick up a bag of dog food as they're walking out the door. I was given $25 for every new location I set up. Well, I thought I'd prove to these guys that I was a real go-getter. So within about 4 months, I was selling dog food out of just about every gas station in southern Alberta. My best customer was actually a little Chinese restaurant in one of the small southern Alberta towns. They're going through about 250 kilograms of dog food a month, and I never saw a dog on the place. So after about 8 months of selling dog food every weekend, I got the phone call I was waiting for. It was the mill manager. He wanted to set up a meeting with me. I figured my nutritionist position was in the bag. I would escape my weekday HPLC job, would not need to spend my weekends on the road selling dog food, and could really start to put my education to work as the nutritionist for a few of those 25,000 head feedlots that were around Lethbridge. I walked into the room. The manager congratulated me on a job well done. I'd sold a lot of dog food. He indicated I was obviously a go-getter. I felt the job offer was imminent. He was going to ask me if I wanted the job as a beef cattle nutritionist. My dreams were about to be realized. So he turned to me and asked me, "Are you suffering from achondroplasia?" So basically what he was offering me instead of a job, he was asking me whether I was a dwarf or not. Well, I said to him, being the trained individual I was, certainly not. By definition, a dwarf is under 4'10", and I happen to be 5 feet. So I'm certainly can't deny that I'm vertically challenged, but I don't meet the definition of a dwarf. So what did I learn from that? Well, I learned that working really hard, trying to do your best, does not always lead to the outcome you're hoping for. I had other experiences as well. Once I drove from Lethbridge to Regina for an interview with a nutrition company. I met with the boss, sat down in his office. First thing he asked me is, "What could he do for me?" And I said, "Well, I'm here for the nutritionist position you're advertising." He said, you drove all the way from Lethbridge to Regina on your own dime just to be interviewed for this position?" I said, yeah, I did. And I realized I wasn't going to get that job either. So what did I learn from that? Well, never go to a job interview unless they're prepared to pay your way. And I even adapted further, showing how education can help you adapt. I decided to get myself a frequent flyer card. And so now, even when I went to the job interview and they were paying, if I left with nothing, at least I had some frequent flyer points. So after a number of interviews, all of which selected someone else, clearly the only way for me to escape the HPLC was by doing a PhD. But I decided I was going to do it with a recognized university, highly recognized university, and some highly recognized scientists. So I started to approach Dr. KJ Chang, who was an eminent ruminant microbiologist with Agriculture Canada at the time. And I got out the Canadian Journal of Animal Science, and I looked to see who the editor of the Canadian Journal of Animal Science was, and it was Jock Buchanan Smith, the professor that was eminent beef nutritionist here at the University of Guelph. And they both became my supervisors. And then I met Dr. Cecil Forestberg, who was a scientist here, professor in microbiology, who put Fibrobacter succinogenius, rumen bacteria, pretty much on the map. And so with individuals, many of them are retired, but none of them have stopped learning. They're still learning today. Dr. Jock Buchanan Smith was a significant advisor to the Canadian Cattlemen's Association and actually had a role in the nomination of allowed me to receive this award today. So you never know where those connections are going to lead in the future. Learning from these individuals has really set me on a path of where I am today. They taught me how to learn. And when you're doing something you love, it's easy to be good at it. Even after my PhD, the pathway was not clear. I accepted a technical position at Agriculture Canada with Dr. Chang. But at that time, I took some heat for that, because why would you go and get a PhD and then just go and be a technician? Why weren't you going to be a scientist? But the position allowed me to continue to learn. I was promoted to a biologist, which is a position kind of in between a technician and a research scientist. I continued to publish papers, and in 1996, I was awarded the Young Scientist Award for the Canadian Society of Animal Science, and that led to my promotion and his establishment as a research scientist within Agriculture Canada. Today, I'm a principal research scientist with Agriculture Canada, and a couple of months ago, our lab just published its 500th peer-reviewed paper. And so my feelings of inadequacy back in my master's degree, where I felt I couldn't write a single paper, were clearly without merit. My wife, Kim, is a research scientist with Alberta Agriculture and Rural Development. We've raised 2 kids. My son, Zach, who's on the Canadian Paralympic team, swam in London in 2012, and in Rio in 2016. He now holds the America's records in the 50, 100, and 400 meter freestyle. Our daughter, Amy, is pursuing a career in engineering. If someone would have told us how our lives would end up when we first came to Lethbridge, me running my HPLC and Kim holding her bull's tails, we would have laughed them out of the room. I continue to learn. I'm fascinated by the knowledge of many of my colleagues that I've continued to work with at universities, governments, and with organizations such as the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change and the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. The honor I'm receiving here today is far from mine alone. The career success I've experienced comes from the support of my family and the many collaborators and students and technical staff that have been just as passionate about learning as I am. So I highly recommend that you continue to love to learn. One should never underestimate the power of learning. I'm confident that the University of Guelph has provided you with the tools to instill this passion in all of you to the benefit of your life experience. So best of life in your lifelong learning experience. It's been a pleasure, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. McAllister, for reminding us of the importance of going for the long game. I think we don't always know where things will end up, and the love of learning is such an important part. So thank you very much for your words. So now it is your turn. I have to remember that you're all here. Okay, so now it is your turn. So it's the moment you've been waiting for. So I would like to ask the graduating class to please rise. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph, that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admission to your various and several degrees with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto.
Will members of the graduating class please be seated?
Good afternoon, graduates, and proud family and friends of the graduates. I'm sure you'll be excited, perhaps a little relieved, certainly happy to see your graduate walk across the stage and be greeted by the Chancellor. And you may want to express your emotions in some audible manner. This is fine. Please go ahead. But may we ask the general audience to hold your collective applause until after the presentation of each of the degree programs, and we will give you the cue. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Angela Elizabeth Gradish. Leslie Louise McKnight. Say Young Oh. Ryan Scott Prosser. Kimberly Deanne Schneider. Evelyn Valera Rojas. Ronald Veliconia. Congratulations to our Doctor of Philosophy graduates. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Planning. Hendrikus Leon Wilmhus Banda. Duran Wedderburn. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Science. Patrick Delacha Afam. Argentina Alanis Villa. Keisha Saudia Davis. Cambria Siobhan Dunetz. Ashley Ann Ferreira. Philip Anthony Formosa. Kelly Shannon Gillis. Lucinda Conway Glennie. Lindsay Ann Goodis. Jesse Ray Jarvis. Daniel Andrew Jeffries. Taylor Jeffrey. Mist Rook Shanara Kautun. Jeffrey Brian Lum. Lance Willett. Baljinder Sabarwal. Lindsay Jane Schramm. Sapana Sharma. Mukta Wad. Charla Rebecca Wallace. Xin Wen. Jing Yang. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the degree Master of Science Planning. Kelly Michelle Henderson. La Joa. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to our master's students from the Ontario Agricultural College.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Bioresource Management Honors Program. Oki Akampuro. Allison Nicole Taziar with distinction. Congratulations to the Bachelor of Bioresource Management Honors Program graduates. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you this scholar from the Ontario Agricultural College that she may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honors Program. Margaret Ann Lang with distinction. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may in the Bachelor of Science Honors Program. Patricia Elizabeth Aguilar with distinction. Brianna Elizabeth Colas. Brittany Dawn Hawken. Yunyong Mimi Kim. Jennifer Laura McNichol with distinction. Zachary Gregor McLaren. Amanda Santarosa. Caitlin Jo Trimble. Katie Ann Vermeulen. Olivia Wetzel. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the Bachelor of Science in Agriculture Honors Program. Alicia Elizabeth Newman with distinction. Jonas Matthias Schwartz. Christine Weston. Congratulations to the Bachelor of Science Agriculture Honors Program graduates. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the Ontario Agricultural College that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Sciences. Jackie Ann Francis Abbey with distinction. Karen Leanna Ball. Leah Amanda DiPortoli with distinction. Nicholas Eric Cressman Fry. Shannon Helen Gauthier. Erica Yvonne Gilbo Ryan with distinction. Lucas Richard McCann. Amanda Ronat O'Connor. Alicia Marie Perceau with distinction. Devin Eric Verizon. Tara Beth Wilson with distinction. Congratulations to all our Bachelor of Science and Environmental Sciences graduates and to all of our graduates from Ontario Agricultural College.
Mr. Chancellor, I would ask you to confer the various and several degrees on the graduates listed in the program but unable to attend the present ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduates not present.
We're nearly at the end of today's convocation, so I have the pleasure of providing you some final remarks to conclude today's ceremony. And I promise I'll be brief. I know there's celebration that's going to go on after this. Today we came together to celebrate an important transition in your life. And it's easy to think of this as the end of a process, with days of studying, assignment, and exams now over. But your process of learning did not begin here at the University of Guelph, nor will it end when you exit this room and take lots of photos and celebrate with your friends and family. Today is just the beginning. It's the beginning of a lifelong learning process during which the education you've received at the University of Guelph, both inside and outside of the classroom, will serve you well. We hope that we have succeeded in opening your eyes to the complexity of the world, of life, and to give you the multitudes of perspectives that are based on culture, upbringing, and experience. We hope we have given you a glimpse of a greater knowledge of the world around us, of how humans interact with each other, for good and for bad, of arts and science and history, and of the importance of caring for those around us and the planet we live on. Remember that the education that you've received has given you opportunities and responsibility. On one hand, it's given you the capacity to take advantage of opportunities that serve your own personal goals. But on the other hand, it highlights your responsibility to play an important role in civil society, whether local, national, or international. So I'm here to ask you, on behalf of the university, to be active participants of the world around you, in the world around you, because the world needs you to help resolve serious societal issues. We need you to make informed decisions that can take into account the complexity of the global world. And we definitely need you to apply your knowledge and energy to address increasingly complex social issues. But of course, dealing with these important problems will not be easy. Many of us often feel that a single person's effort will not resolve the complexity of the world's problem. But if it's not you, and if it's not us, then who will take on that responsibility? Your education, your university education, has provided you with the critical skills to answer complex questions. It's provided you with ways to research, communicate, inform, and influence. So it's now up to you to put this knowledge to good use and to make your mark on the world around you. And as you make that mark, remember that the University of Guelph has become a small part of who you are, and that you also have become part of our collective history. Your association with the University of Guelph is lifelong. Know that you're always welcome to return, to visit, to learn more, to continue sharing in the vibrant community of learning. We are proud of your achievement, and on behalf of the entire University of Guelph, I offer you my personal congratulations and best wishes for an exciting and successful future. Congratulations. And I also have the responsibility to give the final announcements for today's. So we hosted several convocations today, but today is the last one. Yours is the last one. But still, we will need to reset because tomorrow we have another entire day of convocation. So we would appreciate if you could depart through the side doors to go and give back your gowns. Every year we have to count the gowns, and there's often disappearing gowns. So please, we would appreciate if you could return down your gowns downstairs. We very much appreciate your cooperation about that. And following convocation, Dean Rob Gordon will host a reception for all graduates and their guests in Kirillman Hall. This is an opportunity to congratulate all of you graduates, and we hope that you can arrange to attend. And on this, I'd like to wish you my best congratulations, and I will leave the final words to Chancellor Mirvish.
Convocation is dismissed.